Hello, students. My name is Kashyapa Madhuri. I'm from Andhra Pradesh, Tirupati. I teach young professionals and young students how to speak in English really well, how to have good communication skills, how to have good soft skills so that you move forward in your career. I also used to have a lot of problems in my career regarding communication skills, but I have overcome them through practice and through structured learning of communication skills. So that is what we are going to do today. We're going to learn structured way in which you're going to introduce yourself. So today our class is going to be about self-introduction. It is going to be master your self-introduction and adapting your pitch for every scenario. There are going to be a lot of scenarios in your life where you're going to introduce yourself, and we are going to explore how you're going to introduce yourself in those scenarios. All right. So, what is the agenda of our class? So, we are going to have an introduction to self introduction. We're going to know what are first impressions. We're going to know what is the structure of self introduction. Usually, there is a structure of self introduction. You can't just go and say, "Hi, I'm so and so. This is my story. This is my this." Right? You need to have a structure. You need to have a structure of your self introduction and scenario demonstrations. We are going to look at some scenarios and we are going to look at some demonstrations how you are going to introduce yourself in these scenarios. And what are the common pitfalls and fixes? There are a lot of mistakes when it comes to self-introduction. And what are those mistakes and how to fix those mistakes we are going to see in this presentation. And we are going to practice and also learn what are the next steps in self-introduction. All right. So the power of 7 seconds. See, according to human psychology, whenever you are meeting a new person, that person will make an opinion of you within the first 7 seconds of seeing you. Within the first 7 seconds of seeing you. Okay, that is very important. These first 7 seconds give them an impression of you through which they filter each and every data point that you give to them. So it is very important that the first 7 seconds are impressionable. So what are the first impressions? Facial expressions. How are your facial expressions? Are you looking tensed? Are you looking confident? Are you looking overconfident? Are you looking easy? Are you looking not so serious? Are you looking too serious? All these things matter. So your facial expressions tells a lot about you. Your tone. What is your tone? Are you being formal? Are you being casual? Are you being very, very serious? Are you being dominating? Are you being very submissive? All these tones matter a lot in the first impressions. Body language. What is your body language? Are you being open? Like, is your body language open? Or is your body language closed? Or is your body language overconfident? For example, tying your hands like this is a sign of lack of confidence. And putting your hands like this is also a sign of lack of confidence. So how to sit in an interview, how to sit in an interview, how to sit somewhere where you're going to give a presentation or a speech. So you're going to sit in a very calm way. You're going to keep your legs together and your palms on your legs, right? You should not open your legs too much because that gives a wrong idea that you're overconfident. But you should not also clench your shoulders like this, right? Should not also clench your shoulders like that, right? And grooming. When it comes to grooming, you can ask me, sir, why are you having this beard? And why are you having this long hair? See, grooming is not about whether you are clean shaved or whether you are having a haircut or not. Grooming is about whether you're caring for yourself or not. If you look at my beard, I grew it for spiritual reasons, but you can see that it is in a proper shape, right? It is in a proper shape like Shivaji Maharaj, and I have I have neatly combed my hair. So that shows that I care about myself. And when it comes to my attire, this is an online class. So I'm wearing a t-shirt instead of wearing a formal shirt. But when it comes to an offline class, I will not be like this. I will be wearing a very formal shirt. I'll be trimming my beard even shorter. I will be cutting my hair even shorter because in an offline class, my presentation or my grooming tells more about me as a teacher than in an online class. Because in an online class, everything is a bit casual, but also not casual because the focus is mainly on learning than on how you look. Whereas in an offline class, how you look is also very important. That is why I'm in a casual attire right now with minimal grooming. All right. But when you are going to attend something, when you're going to attend an interview, or when you're going to attend a group discussion, or when you're going to attend a function or an interactive session, you need to be groomed very well. You need to present yourself properly, wear neat clothes, right? Comb your hair properly, comb your beard properly, and present yourself. Okay. Now, according to psychology, thin slicing. What is thin slicing? What is thin slicing? Thin slicing is when our brain takes up a limited amount of data and makes a judgment through that. See, there is a lot of data that is coming to us through all our senses, and our brain will not take the entire data and process it. It will only take the noticeable data that is very limited, and then it will process the data to form a judgment. So whenever you enter a room, the person or the group that you're going to introduce yourself to, they're going to form a judgment on you. Judgment is a very normal human thing. Judgment happens every day, everywhere. You cannot just say that, please don't judge me on how I look. People will judge you on how you look and how you present yourself and how you talk, your tone, right? So brain takes this thin slice of data and creates a judgment. And by the time you say, my name is, your listener's brain may be deciding if you're a confident person, if you're a capable person, or if you're a nervous person, right? There are subtle cues. There are subtle cues when you enter a room, or when you enter an interview, or when you enter a group discussion, where people can say whether you're confident or nervous or capable, right? Based on the thin slicing. Okay. We judge three things subconsciously according to Amy Cuddy. Amy Cuddy is a researcher, she's a psychologist. She said that these are the three things. So, what are the three things? Warmth, competence, and intentions. So, when it comes to warmth, warmth is not heat. Warmth is not heat. Okay. You can say, oh, this is warm, this is cool. No, not that warmth. Warmth means being very approachable, being friendly. Whereas cold means, what is cold? That person is cold. When you say that person is cold, it means that person is not approachable. That person is being repulsive. Okay. That doesn't mean that that person has a low temperature. Okay, it doesn't have to do with anything with temperature. Warmth and cold are based on whether a person is approachable or whether a person is not approachable. So when it comes to warmth, your brain asks, can I trust this person? Immediately, after looking at you, if you're a warm person, your brain will immediately, the listener's brain immediately will ask, is this a person that I can trust? And how do you signal that you are a person who can be trusted? You maintain constant eye contact. You maintain eye contact. You smile a little. You have open body language. Your tone is friendly. Your tone is friendly. Your tone is friendly. Your tone is friendly. See how different the tones are? So your tone should be friendly. You should be smiling a little. You should be open in your body language, and you should maintain constant eye contact, not constant eye contact. You can't just keep looking at them wherever they look. You should maintain eye contact while you're speaking to them. Okay. That is when you grow trust towards people. Understand? Then competence. Can I respect this person's ability? How will you prove that you are a competent person and the other person can respect you for your abilities? Through confident voice. Your voice should be confident. You should have a clear structure. That means you should be prepared. You cannot go impromptu. You cannot improvise on interviews. You can only improvise when you're already prepared and something unexpected comes. Okay. You should always be prepared when you're giving a presentation, when you're giving an interview, when you're attending a group discussion, when you're giving a public speech. You should always be prepared with your material. Always remember that. No matter how confident you are, no matter how good your communication skills are, no matter how good your English language is, if you are not prepared, if you're not prepared about what you're going to speak, then people will not respect you. Do you understand? You might be able to make the first impression really well. You might be able to make the first impression really well. Some people are naturally good communicators and they will be able to make first impressions really well. But if you're not prepared, then your self introduction will also go bad. And that first impression that you have made will not save you from the mistakes that you have made already due to lack of preparation. Okay, so confident voice, clear structure, relevant details. That means you need to be prepared with your information. And what are your intentions? So, is this person trying to impress me or connect with me or dominate me? So, let us say that you are attending an interview. So, in an interview, you try to impress the interviewer because if the interviewer is impressed, you'll get a job. So, that is your intention there, but you can also connect with the interviewer, which will increase your chances of getting a job. So you can connect with the interviewer or impress the interviewer, but you will never dominate the interview. Domination comes when you're speaking to your subordinates, when you're an officer, or when you're a manager in your company and you're speaking to your subordinates, and then you need to maintain a dominant uh, physical appearance, a dominant communication skill. Okay, what is the hook and tone? Are you humble or are you aggressive or are you curious? So you need to decide on this. So if you're humble, then you can impress and connect. If you're curious, then you can connect. If you're aggressive, then you can dominate. So people usually prefer either impression or connection, but they never prefer domination. Even from their bosses, they never prefer domination. So make sure that you're not trying to be over dominant because people know more than you in various other things than you do in one thing, right? For example, take me, I might know a lot about communication skills, but you might be an engineer who knows a lot about engineering than me, right? Just because of that, just because I know a little bit more English than you, that doesn't mean that I can dominate you, right? You should always keep an open mind that, okay, the person who is listening to me also knows a lot. They also have a lot of knowledge. So I should not dominate them. I should connect with them. When you connect with people, you will be able to get more productive results. All right. Now, what is the halo effect? So once a first impression is made, the brain filters all the remaining information through those lenses. Okay, once the first impression is made, once you are treated as a warm person, a person who is connectable, a person who is respectable, a person who is capable, then your brain, then the listener's brain will be treating all the rest of the information through the same filter. If you seem professional and if you are really good at your self-introduction, small errors, not big errors, small errors will be forgiven. Okay, if you seem unsure or arrogant at the start itself, people may discount your valid points. So when you're giving self-introduction, when you're introducing yourself, if you're not so sure about yourself, if you're not confident, if you're not presentable, then people will question, okay, does this even matter? If you are making a valid point also, people will be like, okay, it is, yeah, you know, they have already made a judgment and they will be thinking through that judgment, through the filter of the judgment. What are the three P's of a self-introduction? What are the three P's? Personal. So whenever you're introducing yourself, there needs to be a story. There needs to be a story. Story doesn't mean that you are going to tell your entire life story. Story is a small, relatable story that is contextual. That means it should be relatable to the interviewer or the group discussion or your audience at that point of time because of the topic. Okay. Purposefulness, why you are here. You should know why you are there. You should know why you are speaking there. You should know why you are introducing yourself. You should know what you're going to do. If you don't know what you're going to do, if you don't know why you're there, then you're not going to make a good impression. Pleasant energy. You should have a pleasant energy. Your energy should be pleasant and approachable. People should not be repulsed by your energy. People should be approached by your energy. They should be curious. If you have a curious energy, then they will also have curious energy. Right? People try to mirror our energies. Okay. They set the tone for TCR. So what are TCRs? Let us see. So TCR, tone. T is for tone. Tone, whether your tone is casual or formal. Credibility, credentials or past wins. So you establish your tone. Your tone is either casual or formal. So in a formal tone is used in interviews, formal tone is used in group discussions, and formal tone is used in your work meetings, and formal tone is used in your other meetings with any other person. Whereas casual tone can be used when you're giving public speeches, when you're talking with your friends, or when you're talking with your colleagues, right? Right now, the world is moving towards more of a casual tone. The workspace is moving towards more of a casual tone than of a formal tone, right? Your bosses don't want to be called sir anymore. They are calling each other with names, and work is mainly online. So everybody is talking to each other as colleagues, as equals, right? So casual tone is also coming up a lot. But credentials, you need to have right credentials. You need to tell your right credentials or past wins, right? When you're introducing yourself, you need to tell, for example, when I'm introducing myself, I tell my students, see, I have been teaching for 3 years or 4 years. I have been teaching for 600 students. I have this much experience. I have that much experience. I have achieved this much, right? All these are past credentials. You can either tell about the score you have got in your college, or you can either tell some achievement that you have done, some competition that you have won. All these things are credentials or past things. Okay. Rapport, shared interest or emotional hook. So when it comes to rapport, I will give you an example. I was interviewing a candidate. Okay. And the candidate mentioned that he is interested in volunteering. So that created a rapport between us. And when the interview was later going on, I asked him, you said you're interested in volunteering, right? What kind of volunteering did you do? And he said that when there was Chennai floods in 2015, he was helping people who were stuck in universities. And I was one of the people who was stuck in universities at the time. And I received help from people who were helping like him. So we had a bond there, we had a rapport there. He was someone who was helping people. I was someone who was receiving help from people in a time of need, in a time of natural disaster. And that created a rapport and that created a lot of trust on him, right? So that is rapport. So TCR, tone, credibility, and rapport. Rapport. Okay. It's not rapport, it's rapport. Rapport. Okay. Next, let's talk about tone. So when we are talking about tone, casual tone. In a casual tone, I would be like, hey there, I'm Kashyapa. I help students top their way into great jobs. Or I will say, good morning, I'm Kashyapa Madhuri. I'm a certified communication trainer with experience mentoring over 600 learners in professional areas. The first one is casual. The second one is formal. So where does casual tone fit? The casual tone fits in social media introduction, startup networking, training camps. Whenever you go for some training, there you can give a casual tone training, or even in your classrooms. When your professor or teacher asks you, introduce yourself, you can give a casual introduction. You don't need to give a formal introduction. But when the same professor asks you in an interview to give an introduction, you should give a formal introduction. Okay, that is about tone. Now let us talk about credibilities. Credibility is what makes people think, okay, this person knows what they're doing. Okay, it is what makes people think that you know what you are doing. Build it by briefly mentioning your qualifications. For example, for me, My qualifications are from MBA Pondicherry University with a CGPA of 8.12. Immediately it will be like, yes, this guy is an MBA graduate. Yes, he has 8.12 CGPA. That means he has a really good grip on his content, right? Immediately it will give a clarity to the person who is listening to me. Track record. For me, my track record is that I have trained 600 plus students, boosted speaking scores by 35%. But you need to notice that you need to mention numbers. You need to mention numerical values of your track record. The more you mention numerical values instead of vague statements, oh, I have done a presentation in my university. Instead of that, you should say, I have done this many presentations, I have attended this many workshops, I have spoke to this many people, and I have won this many awards. If you give those numbers, it will immediately give you more credibility because of the numbers. Past wins. This is my past wins. Okay, I spoke to 5,000 audiences when I was in my university. That is something we will discuss later when it comes to my personal life. Okay, past wins. So you need to give either a personal past win or a professional past win. Okay. Next, rapport, shared interest or emotional hook. See, rapport is the emotional bridge between you and the listener. You create it by referring to shared interest. I'm also passionate about student psychology. For me, when it comes to that, if I'm talking to an interviewer who is going to give me a job as a faculty, then I'm going to tell them I'm also passionate about student psychology. Student psychology is very important for me. And because of studying student psychology, I know how to teach students, right? But when you're applying for a different job, you need to find a shared interest that is relevant to that job for that context. All right. Next, a relatable struggle. I was also once terrified of interviews too until I cracked it. So you need to give a relatable struggle. Cultural touch. Namaste. I grew up in a Telugu medium school. I know how scary English can feel. That is my cultural touch. But you can have your own cultural touch, right? And as I have said, I have created a rapport with one of the candidates in the interview because he mentioned volunteering, right? I gave you an example. That is also a very clear example of creating a rapport. Okay, examples. Like many of my students, I didn't go. This is my examples. These are my examples. I want you to write down your own example, right? I want you to write down your own examples. Based on these examples or based on your own skills, I want you to write your own examples of rapport statements. Okay, statements that create rapport between you and your listener. Okay, rapport builds trust before your message even begins. If there is no trust, if the listener doesn't trust you, they will not receive your message. So the listener must receive your message, will receive your message only when they trust you. So you need to build trust and rapport. So what is the framework for self-introduction? So what is NVHAA? So N stands for name. Introduce yourself clearly. Hi, I'm Ravi Kumar. I'm Kashyapa. I'm Rahul. Whatever your name is, introduce yourself clearly. V is for value. Briefly explain what you bring to the table. I specialize in training public speaking, graduates in public speaking and workplace English, or you can give whatever value that you have. I specialize in JavaScript. I specialize in coding. Whatever it is that you bring to the table, you need to tell the value. What is the hook? Add a memorable personal detail or story. For me, what is the hook, do you think? My beard is my hook. My beard is my hook. Oh, that bearded faculty. Oh, remember that bearded faculty? See, that is how I created a hook. I used my beard as my hook. You can use your speech as your hook. Okay, you can use a small story as your hook, right? That hook is what makes people remember who you are. They might not remember your name, they might not remember what you have said, but they might remember how you have said or the story that you have connected with. A is for action. So after there is a hook, there needs to be a call for an action. So once, for example, let us say that you are going to an interview and you're introducing yourself and you have given your name, value, hook, and you need to give an action plan. So instead of waiting for them to ask you questions, you can just Directly say, do you want to know how I can help your company? Or do you want to know how I can increase your sales? Or do you want to know how I have a plan to increase sales for your company? Right? You can ask these questions so that it is an actionable plan, so that there is an action. The listener is going to act now because of what you have done. Next, adapt. Modify your intro based on the setting and the listener. In interviews, I focus on job fit. In workshops, I use humor and relatability. That is my example, but you have to create your own example. Your intro should be based on the setting and the listener, right? You should be able to adapt your self intro. You might have prepared for certain self intro, but after going and seeing the listener, you need to adapt your self intro into what interests them, how to connect with them. All right. What is the call to action? CTA. Why use the CTA? A call to action is the final line of your self introduction that clearly tells the listener what you want them to do next. It makes your intro purposeful instead of ending with silence or awkwardness. In communication, a call to action answers, okay, so what do you want me to do next? I have given you example, right? Just before I have given you an example. How to bring a call to action. The call to action is what makes the listener come to an action and be you being proactive instead of putting the onus on the listener to be proactive. Okay, it directs the conversation. So when you have a call to action, you can direct the conversation in the way that you want it to go. You can direct it toward your strengths and your own level of comfortability instead of leaving it to random or leaving it to awkwardness. It shows leadership. If you are calling for an action, it shows leadership. It shows that you can take leadership and you can lead in your life. Okay, it shows taking initiative and not waiting to be invited. It creates a clarity. It makes your purpose obvious to the listener. It encourages responses, invites collaboration or follow. So once you create a call to action, then they will either follow up with you, they will either give you a response, or they will either ask to collaborate with you. CTA examples by context. Now I want you to note down all this. So I want you to note down all this. So in a job interview, what are the CTAs? In a networking event, what are the CTAs? In a trainer introduction, what are the CTAs? In a client meeting, what are the CTAs? I want you to note down all this. Oh, let's go back. Yeah. Note down all this. And after noting down all this, I want you to write your own CTAs. Okay. I want you to write your own CTAs. Your own CTAs, your own calls of action based on your own self-introduction. Right? Remember the structure NVHAA. Based on NVHAA, one of the A's is action, and that is call to action, and that is what we are discussing about right now. And here we have examples, and I want you to write down your own examples. Write down these examples and write down your own examples and create them so that there will be a proper response from the listener. All right. Next, tips to craft a strong CTA. Use action verbs, connect, schedule, follow. All these things are action verbs. Use these action verbs in your CTA. Be specific in your CTA. Don't be vague in your CTA. Be specific, time, method, or next step. Oh, would you like to tell me about how I can increase your sales by 10%? Or would you like to follow up with me next week? Or would you like to make me a call with you? Would you like to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram? All these things are call to actions. Keep it natural. Match the tone. Don't be pushy in a casual chat. If you give a call to action and the listener is not responding, don't be pushy. Don't be like, no, tell me now, tell me now, tell me your LinkedIn profile, tell me your LinkedIn profile. Let's connect, let's connect. People do that, you know. Or tell me your Instagram, especially when it comes to gender differences. Tell me your Instagram, tell me your Instagram. I want to follow you. Don't do that. Don't do that. If the listener is not matching your tone, don't be pushy. Okay. Avoid weak endings like that's it. Don't say that's it at the end of your self-introduction. My name is so and so, I have achieved so and so, and that's it. That's it about me. No, don't do that. A lot of people do that. Never do that. Always have a call for action. Instead of saying that's it about me, you can say hope we'll talk again. Hope we'll talk again. Right? Maybe we'll see. Don't say maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see. Hope we'll talk again. That's it. Don't say all these things. Okay. Common pitfalls in self-introductions and how to fix them. Overflowing biography, no structure or rambling, speaking too fast or too low, too slow, reading from a script or being monotonous, missing call to action, tone mismatch, ignoring audience needs, excessive jargon, weak body language, over apologizing. Okay, so let us see what are these mistakes one by one. Okay, so overflowing biography. So overflowing biography is basically some people tend to tell their entire life story. I was born in this town, I grew up in this town, I was raised in this school, I was studying until this class in this school, I was studying plus one, plus two in this college, I was studying my degree in this college. They'll keep on telling about their biography, and that is not of interest to the listener. So just keep one credential, one achievement, and move on. These are the examples. Okay, these are the examples. Now I want you to create your own examples of your biography without overflowing. Okay. Next, no structure or rambling. See, NVHAA will provide you a proper structure. But without a proper structure, your self-introduction will just sound like rambling. It will sound like someone who is just speaking, who is just making up things as they are speaking, and it doesn't feel good to the listener. It doesn't give a structure to the listener. People like structure. So when there is a structure, they can ask questions, right? What is the fix to that? The fix is NVHA. This is the structure. Having a structure is the fix to no structure. Simple. Examples. So this is my example that I have given. I want you to write your own example. Okay. Next. What are the other common pitfalls? Speaking too fast or too slow. My name is Kashyapa. I can do this. I can do that. I can do that. I have experience teaching 600 students. See, that is speaking too fast, and I have so many R's and O's in between. Or speaking too slow. My name is Kashyapa. I have experience teaching 600 students, looking like this, looking like that. That is also not going to be. So you need to maintain a proper tone. You need to maintain a proper speed. All right. What is the fix? Pause at punctuation. Project from the diaphragm. Project from the diaphragm. Instead of speaking from the nose or your throat, try to speak from your diaphragm. Okay. Example Q. Count one and silently after each comma. So after each comma or full stop, maintain a pause. Give a small pause. Okay. Reading from a script or monotone. Do not by heart your self-introduction. Some people, what they do is they write a proper structured self-introduction. They by heart everything, and they will just spit it out when it comes to self-introduction in a very monotone. You observe this a lot in school children or students who are coming from tier 2, tier 3 colleges. They have a lot of monotonous introductions, and they usually follow a script. Even if you're following a script, it should not seem like you're following a script. It should seem like you're following a structure, and it should seem like you're confident in what you're saying. Okay, memorize first and last line only and use bullet cues instead of memorizing the entire script and spitting it out. Glance at a keyword card, name, value, hook, CTA. Remember these, and you will be able to do it. Okay. Missing call to action. If there is a call to action that is missing, then you need to fix it with a clear end. Clear end. Okay. End with a clear next step. There should be a proper next step. Okay. Do not miss a call to action, because call to action, if you do not have a call to action, it will lead to awkward silence, and it will keep the onus on the listener to start the conversation. Right? So you have to continue the conversation, not the listener. Okay, this is my example. Tone mismatch. You're either too casual or you're either too stiff. The tone, see, whenever, even if you're in an interview, even if you're in a very formal situation, your tone cannot be completely casual or completely stiff. Your tone should switch in between, right? For example, when you're telling a person's story, the tone should be casual. But when you are speaking about numbers or when you're speaking about your goals or aims, then your tone should be very formal. Understand? So this is mirror the setting. Fix. What is the fix for this? Mirror the setting, company culture, audience age, formality. So how is the setting? Where you are speaking, who are your listeners, what is the culture there, what is the age of the audience, are they very elder to you, so do you have to respect them and give a formal tone, or are they not so elder to you so you can speak to them in a casual tone and it is fine? And formality, what are the formalities? Is it a government job where even irrespective of age, if you're speaking to a superior officer, you must have a formal tone, right? These are the examples. Okay, these are the examples that I have given, but I want you to write your own examples. Yes, there is a lot of work you have to do. You have to write your own examples. Only when you put in the work, you'll be able to have a proper self-introduction. Otherwise, you will not be able to have a proper self-introduction. You might think self-introduction is so small in a conversation. Yes, but it is very important to have a proper structure. It is very important because those 7 seconds of first impressions are very important. All right. Next, ignoring audience needs. So, what are the needs of the audience? If you ignore the needs of the audience, if you have gone for the interview of an engineer job, but you're speaking how good you are at your artistic skills, then it is completely ignoring, then you're completely ignoring the needs of your audience. So, you should not ignore the needs of your audience. You should find the pain point. So, why they are hiring you? Why they are having this discussion? Why you are giving this speech? What is the pain point? What is the reason? You should hit that pain point and you should speak about that pain point. Your value should be linked to that pain point. Example. Okay, this is my example. I create bite-sized English modules that cut onboarding time for new hires by 20%. That is my example. You can excessive jargon. Jargon is using excessive technical terms, right? If you use too many technical terms and the interviewer does not know one of the technical terms, they will feel uncomfortable. Immediately they get detached. They'll think that, okay, this guy is trying to dominate me by using excessive jargon. So swap acronyms for plain words. Explain one technical term if essential. So instead of using a lot of jargon, lot of abbreviations and acronyms, you should just use plain words. And if there are some technical terms, try to explain it a little bit. Okay, assume that the interviewer doesn't know anything. Just assume, because that is what they're trying to learn from you, whether you know things or not whether they know things or not. So assume that they don't know anything and explain a particular technical thing before they even ask about it, before they even point out and ask about it. Okay. Okay. So this is an example. See, replace I optimize CX via NLP driven chatbots with I build chatbots that answer customer questions instantly. See, CX is customer, right? CX is a acronym for customer in the business world. Okay. So you should be very careful with this acronyms. Okay, and excessive jargon. Weak body language. If you maintain a weak body language, then you're not going to have the confidence of the listener. So your body language should also be proper. Okay. The body language should be open. Your body language, we have spoken about body language, right? Already. Square shoulders, eye contact, and a relaxed smile. Okay. Not a forced smile. See, that's a forced smile. A relaxed smile like this. You should have a relaxed smile. You should be relaxed. Okay. Example cue. Imagine handing a business card to the whole room, posture follow. Over apologizing. Whenever you make a mistake, people will be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Instead of that, own the small slips with a smile and then move on. I'll give you a small example. Right? I was uh, I was in Chennai with a friend who is from Northeast, and I was supposed to translate from Hindi to Tamil a Tamil person and Tamil to Hindi to the Hindi person. So instead of doing Hindi to Tamil, I was translating Hindi to Hindi. So the Hindi person is saying something in Hindi, and speaking to the Tamil person in Hindi, and the Tamil person is saying something in Tamil, and speaking to the Hindi person in Tamil. So instead of saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," I was just like, we all just laughed. We all just laughed and continued the conversation in Hindi. Okay. Instead of saying I'm sorry, you can just say, let me rephrase that more clearly. I am, I do, I think. Okay. Use all these things. Practice routine for a shorter self-introduction. Record, review, refine, loop. Record your self-intro. So make a small video of your self-introduction, review that video and refine it. Make notes of what you're doing wrong. Make notes of what you're doing right. Film a 60-second intro on your phone. Watch once for content, once for delivery, once for body language. Okay, identify one fix per round, re-record. Timer drills, like 15 seconds introduction, 30 seconds introduction, 60 seconds introduction. So based on the time you have as a public speaker or as an interviewer, you need to estimate how much time you have for your self-introduction. Practice condensing and expanding the same intro to hit all three lines. If your intro is too long, then you lose the audience. If your intro is too short, then they will not remember you. So you should practice condensing all the information into the particular given time or expanding the information into the particular given time. WWW peer card. So what is this? Worldwide wrestling? No. It's not worldwide wrestling. So swap intros with a partner. They write what went well, even better if. So you give introduction, find a partner, find a friend. You give your self introduction to the friend, and they give self introduction to you, and you will write. You will give them a evaluation. So WWW is what went well. So you will tell them what went well. So these things went well. You were confident. You were making eye contact. Your body language is really good. Whatever it is. Even better if it would be even better if you condense your content into 60 seconds. It would be better if you condense your content into if you fix on telling about your achievements rather than telling about your story, right? Like that, by partner to partner, you can learn through friends. Okay, mirror and pause practice. Speak in front of a mirror. Look at yourself. Look at your body language, and treat yourself as another person and introduce yourself. Vocabulary spotlight. Highlight three power words and make sure they're pronounced crisply and not swallowed. Okay. Your vocabulary prowess also tells the listener how fluent you are in the language. All right. So that is also very important. Hook swap out. Grab three different hooks, story, fact, quirky detail. Test which one gets the best listener reaction. Okay. Your hook can be either a story or a fact or a quirky detail. For me, my hook was quirky detail when it comes to my beer. It is a funny detail, right? But when it comes to a story, I gave you a story about the volunteering thing and fact. I gave you a fact that I have trained 600 students. Right? In the similar way, you can also try different hooks and swap them out based on the needs. Next steps after you nail the basics, use this checklist as a living document to tick off practical drills weekly and revisit the next steps columns every month to keep your self-intro sharp. So this is a checklist. Okay, this is a checklist. Create a CTA library, call to action library. So for different interviews, for different scenarios, you need different calls to action. Prepare 3 to 4 closing lines tailored to common scenarios, interviews, networking, client call. For all these, you need different calls to action, right? With a client call, what will be the call to action? Setting up an appointment for the next call or setting up an appointment for a direct client meet would be the call to action, right? Build a context matrix. Row. In a row, audience, what kind of audience you're talking about. And in the columns, what is the tone? Casual, neutral, formal, what is the tone? Okay. Note which words or examples you would tweak in each cell. Add a slide or business card QR. Okay. Embed your 30-second intro video on LinkedIn or a digital business card. You can create a digital business card or you can just upload a video on YouTube and you can put it on your business card or you can put it on your resume. sometimes, and you can just say, see, I have a video resume in which you're self introducing yourself, right? It's very simple and easy. Track real world reactions. So you're not going to be 100% successful based on your first interaction with people. You are going to make mistakes. So you need to track the reactions, how people are reacting to various things. Like, did they smile? Did they ask a question? Did they accept my call to action, or did they reject my call to action? Or and you need to adjust based on the patterns. You need to integrate into bigger pictures. Use your intro as the opening paragraph for resumes, cover letters, cold emails. Schedule a quarterly refresh. Update metrics and wins so your value line stays current. So every quarter you will have new wins, you'll have new value that is added to your career. So you need to update your self intro with that value. All right. Next, why self intro is not all that matters, but is still very important. Self intro is very important, but it is not everything. If you have a good self intro but you don't have an introduction, if you don't have proper content with you, if you don't know what you're talking about, then your self intro doesn't matter. So self intro opens the door but it doesn't build the whole house. A self intro is your opening move, like the handshake before a conversation. It sets the tone, expectations and initial impressions, but real trust and clarity are built over time through listening, through responding and through adapting. Okay. Think of it like trail mix. The self intro is the first almond, it matters, but the whole snack is a mix of gestures, tone, clarity, empathy, body language, follow through. All right. What else matters beyond self intro? So these are the things that matter beyond self intro: active listening, body language, clarity and brevity, tone and pace, adaptability. So, what is active listening? Active listening is, in an effective communication, you should listen. You should listen as well as you speak. If you're not listening to, if you're not listening to the person you're talking to, then you're not an effective communicator. So show respect and emotional intelligence. People feel heard. Make people feel heard. Body language. 60 to 70% of the meaning comes from your body language. Your smile, your posture, your eye contact, all these things are more important than what you're saying. So if you have a good grip on your body language, then you can focus completely on what you're saying. But you should not divert yourself just by focusing on body language. Okay, clarity and brevity. If you have clarity in what you're speaking and you will avoid confusion, then people will have no problem in listening to you and they will know what they're listening to. They'll not get bored. Okay, tone and pace impacts how your message is received. Calm versus rushed, polite versus robotic. Is your tone robotic? Are you speaking like a robot? Or is your tone multi-tones? Do you have multi-tones? Are you speaking in different tones for different conversations? Right? You need to understand that. You need to speak in different tones for different aspects of your conversation. Adaptability, adjusting your style based on feedback and audience mood. Based on the mood of the audience and their feedback, you need to adjust your style of speaking, right? Sometimes they might be in a good mood, sometimes they might be in a bad mood. If they are in a bad mood, you need to figure out how to make them curious and how they can listen to you. If they are in a good mood, you should be able to continue that good mood and keep them in that good mood and bring that curiosity with you for the conversation. Okay, what if your self introduction goes wrong? Let us say that you went to an interview or a public speaking event and your self interview went wrong. So, what if it went wrong? Pause and recalibrate. Take a short pause, smile, and reset. There is nothing wrong in it. Instead of panicking, just do this: pause and recalibrate. Sorry, let me rewind and start that better. Just say that and start it better again. Acknowledge without apologizing too much. Don't say too many sorry. Oh, sorry. Let me start again. Let me start again. Don't panic. Don't panic. Sorry. Let me rewind it and start better. Shall we? Shall we start better? Shall we start from the beginning? You're giving a call of action there again. Don't say I'm so bad at this. Don't say that, oh no, I'm so bad at this. I'm losing my confidence. Don't say all those. Say, let me give you a clear version of that. Right? Next, keep it simple and honest. Do not make it too complicated. Focus on the matters, focus on what matters to your audience, and be honest in what you're saying. In short, I help people speak with clarity and confidence, especially in interviews and public speaking. That is it. That is what I want to say if I'm attending an interview, right? Use humor or relatability, lighten the moment. Guess I should have followed my own advice about not rushing in case, right? If I make a mistake, I should use humor and say that I should have followed my own advice. And you can also do that. You can use a little bit of humor. Humor is nothing wrong. Don't make stupid jokes. Just be humorous. Just be humorous about your own mistakes. Take them lightly. Don't take them too seriously. Let the rest of your communication speak for you. Don't focus too much on the mistake. Once you've done a mistake, pause, recalibrate, acknowledge it without apologizing too much. Keep it simple and honest, use humor and relatability. Then let the rest of your communication speak for you. A rough stat can be forgotten if the rest of your talk is engaging and valuable. Many great speakers start weak at first and finish strong. Audiences remember the finish. Okay. You don't need a You don't need a perfect introduction, you need a human one. If you mess it up, great. Now the pressure's off, focus on connecting. You need to remember that you're speaking to humans, you're not speaking to robots, you're not speaking to some aliens coming from some other planet. You're speaking to humans, so you need to connect with them. If you connect with them, then you will have a good rapport, and what you are trying to communicate will be easily communicated to the people that you're trying to say. All right. That is it from me today. Thank you. Oh my God. See, I made my own mistake. I said that is it. Right? So thank you for listening to my class. If you want to learn more from my class, please do mail me at kashyapa4@gmail.com and we will speak more about it. Or we can meet in your class on a regular basis. All right?